Think China, 11th of April 2024, from Afghanistan to Pakistan, China is confronted with an escalating menace of terrorism. The current global focus is on the recent terrorist attacks in Moscow. Still, the loss of life among Chinese laborers along the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC, which is valued at approximately $65 billion and is regarded as a highly ambitious undertaking under Beijing's Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, continues unabated. 5 Chinese engineers and their Pakistani chauffeur were killed on March 26 when a suicide bomber targeted a Chinese convoy near the city of Besham in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province of northwest Pakistan. The assault exemplified the potential for disruptive consequences emanating from Afghanistan to impede Chinese investments in the area. Security concerns and skepticism regarding the BRI. While there is currently no official claim of responsibility from any militant organization, it is worth noting that 9 Chinese laborers perished in the same vicinity near the Dasu hydropower dam construction site in 2021. During that period, the Pakistani government accused the Tehrik-i-Taliban Pakistan, TTP, an Afghan-based militant organization. In retaliation for the deaths of 7 Pakistani soldiers during a TTP assault in northern Pakistan, Pakistan's Air Force bombed a TTP stronghold in Afghanistan a few days before the Besham attack. This incident demonstrated the rapid deterioration of Islamabad-Taliban relations. The Balochistan Liberation Army, BLA, a separatist movement operating in southeastern Pakistan, attacked Chinese investments in the port city of Gwadar, another pillar of the CPEC, concurrently with the assault on the Chinese convoy. In this particular instance, the BLA militants who had ambushed a Chinese convoy near the strategic port were repelled by Pakistani security forces. The Baloch Liberation Army, BLA, has targeted Chinese investments and personnel in Balochistan, as well as critical port cities such as Karachi and Gwadar, since 2018. Its objective is to sow discord between Islamabad and Beijing and propagate the nationalist view of the Baloch people that Beijing is exploiting their natural resources. The outbreak of violence against Chinese interests and personnel in Pakistan coincides with a pivotal moment when the newly elected government of Islamabad is attempting to garner Beijing's backing to increase investment. Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif reassured the Chinese laborers during his post-Besham attack visit to Dasu that the Pakistani government would spare no effort to guarantee them optimal security. Concurrently, the escalation in violence is reigniting apprehensions regarding the 3 evils: extremism, separatism, and terrorism, which have been sources of concern for China, Russia, and the Central Asian republics ever since the establishment of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Resurgence of terrorism concerns. China's pragmatic stance towards the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan can be interpreted as an indication of its apprehension regarding the ongoing instability in Afghanistan and the potential ramifications that may ensue. China, like its neighboring countries in Afghanistan, is concerned about the escalation of narcotics and weapons trafficking, the emergence of Islamist terrorism, and a fresh influx of refugees. Hence, Beijing's stance regarding the Taliban's resurgence is markedly distinct from its stance in 1996, when the Islamist organization initially assumed power. China not only refused to recognize the Taliban at that time but also closed its embassy in the capital of Afghanistan. Although Beijing did not formally acknowledge the Taliban government, it accepted the credentials submitted by the newly appointed Taliban ambassador in January of last year. The Islamic State in Khorasan Province, ISKP, has transformed a clandestine ISIS affiliate situated in a remote mountainous region of Afghanistan to a transnational extremist entity capable of carrying out assaults in Iran, Pakistan, and, more recently, Russia. The perpetrators of these assaults are purportedly ISIS members originating from Central Asia, specifically Tajik nationals. Online anti-China rhetoric has increased by the ISKP since the 2022 suicide bombing at a Chinese-owned hotel in Kabul. The organization expresses its dissent towards China's policies in Xinjiang and Beijing's backing of the Taliban. Consequently, Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's potential forthcoming visit to China to promote CPEC is being marred by the escalation of violence from ISKP and other transnational militant organizations based in Afghanistan and Pakistan, including the Baloch separatists. Recent acts of terrorism are likely to detract attention from economic negotiations. Already, Beijing is exerting pressure on Islamabad to prioritize the safety of Chinese personnel, institutions, and initiatives in Pakistan and address security concerns. Managing a challenging neighborhood. Furthermore, there has been a heightened escalation in the strained relations between Afghanistan and its adjacent nations, Pakistan and Iran. This was evidenced by several gunfights between Iranian and Afghan border patrols, including Iran's recent aerial assault on Afghanistan to destroy a militant base and Pakistan's missiles directed at extremist militants in Pakistan. Beijing is alarmed by the swift deterioration of security in the region, as evidenced by these occurrences. Each nation's heightened counterterrorism efforts run the risk of exacerbating unrest and upsetting the delicate equilibrium among refugees within their respective territories. The development above carries significant geopolitical ramifications as it transforms power dynamics near South and Central Asia, which are China's immediate neighbors. In light of the current state of international affairs, the potential forthcoming visit of the Prime Minister of Pakistan to China gives rise to inquiries regarding the resolution of the matter concerning the authorization of Chinese private security companies, PSCs, to establish a lawful presence in Pakistan. Because the BRI has been attacked from South Asia to Africa, Beijing is considering expanding the private security sector to address security gaps. From Africa to the Red Sea, the trend is already evident in the increasing number of Chinese PSCs operating overseas. Furthermore, the recent assault has intensified the discourse among Chinese security analysts on social media, who advocate for China's active involvement in counterterrorism endeavors. Beijing may rekindle a previous appeal to Islamabad to authorize Chinese PSCs to protect Chinese laborers and projects in Pakistan in response to the recent escalation of violence. At one point, Islamabad opposed issuing licenses to Chinese PSCs for independent operation within the country. Nevertheless, a compromise might be imminent in light of the swift deterioration of security circumstances and the pressing need for Chinese economic aid.